In this video, I'm talking about Dehancer. I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions on it after using it for about a month or so. Dehancer's main function is to emulate the look of film. There are a lot of people over at Dehancer who have done an immense amount of research and a wonderful job of condensing all of that into a very user-friendly end product in Dehancer. But apart from that, it also has the ability to fine-tune any of the parameters for some of these film emulations, including grain, including bloom, halation, and a host of other things that really make up the unique components of film. The interesting thing about that is you can mix and match those different things to create your own looks, to build upon looks, and it's just a tool that really elevates your ability to color grade. I'm not really gonna do any tutorials and show you how to use Dehancer, but I will show you what it looks like in DaVinci and kind of what you can do with it real quick. First, I just wanna quickly talk about some of my pros and cons. I'll go into some of these later or show you kind of what I'm talking about when I jump into DaVinci. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the price of Dehancer Pro. Dehancer Pro will set you back $449, which actually I think is a really, really great price. Some of its competitors that do things like Dehancer does are upwards of thousands and thousands of dollars. So I think it's within its market a good price. There is a cheaper version in Film Convert, which I've been using for a while, but after using Dehancer, it's going to be very, very difficult to ever pull Film Convert out again. And the thing about $449 is that is a lifetime license. So you purchase it one time and you have it forever. All updates, all changes, everything that they do in the future will be yours at no extra cost, which really makes it worth it. I mean, $449, one-time payment, that's it, you're done. I definitely think you would get your value from it very, very quickly. And once you get kind of familiar with the program, it's really hard to step away from. Another pro I briefly touched on is the 63 film emulations. Apart from that alone, which is 63 unique looks, and then each one of them could be customized for literally infinite possibilities. Because of the additional customization and the ability to toggle things on and off and fine tune with a custom mode, it really makes 63 turn into hundreds of thousands. I mean, there's literally no end in sight, and it's all very easy to use. The plugin is also very, very approachable. I'm not a pro colorist. I don't pretend to be a pro colorist, but it was very easy to put it into DaVinci and just play around with a few settings without doing any research and get good results. Later, I did my research and read some of the things that Dehancer provides on their website, and I was like, okay, well, some of these I made a mistake on. I'll just go back and include that in my workflow in the future. But it's very, very simple. It's a plugin in DaVinci, fully supported, so you just drag and drop it right out of your effects library onto a node, and you just get to work. It all comes up in a big box, and you just drop down boxes, click things, drag sliders. It's very, very simple. And the final thing that I've really been enjoying about it is that it runs really well. Despite the amounts of changes that is happening to your image and the amount of effects that are kind of going on with grain and halation, I've never really had it become a problem that I couldn't like continue working on my regular high-res files without proxying or transcoding them or anything like that. Like, I just plug it in and it's been working really, really well. It lags a little bit, but it's nothing that's like bogging down to the computer so much to the point where I can't continue to work the way I normally work. On the con side, I have to be honest, I don't really have any cons. I think what it does well. If you're trying to force Dehancer into a situation where it's not designed to perform, I think you'll run into problems and you might think that it's not worth it or whatever. But if you understand what it is and you understand how it's working into your workflow, it's really quite great. It would just be a matter of if this tool is the right tool for you, and that's really the question you have to ask. You have to figure in your workflow and in the work that you do, is something like a film emulator, which really is its primary job, is that something that I can make use of? So here we are in DaVinci. I'm just going to quickly show you Dehancer as the end product, what you can expect from it, what it kind of looks like, and how it manipulates the footage. I'm not going to do a full tutorial on it. It's just not what this video is about. So the first thing we're looking at here is my node tree. It is set up in an ACES color space and an ACES workflow. So I'm going to open my effects panel, search Dehancer. This is one of its strengths. It is this super easy to use plugin where you just click it, drag it, drop it, and then you're pretty much ready to go. The first thing I'm gonna have to do though is change my source from Rec 709 to Asus CCT, and now it is working as intended. You'll see Dehancer has all of these things. It is super, that might look overwhelming, but when I was saying it's super approachable, this is kind of what I mean. You just go in and just go straight down the line. And once you use it a few times, you'll know like which things you like and which things you don't like. And I spent the first week or so just dragging sliders around so I could see how they worked. In the first bar here, you have the ability to kind of correct your footage if you need to raise exposure, lower exposure, tint compensation, temperature control, the whole works. You can do all that there. In the second tab, you have film, which has all of the film emulations. There's a lot, there's 63. Some of them are very aggressive, some of them are super unique, like this Lomachrome Purple. Very interesting film look. It actually does really well. This is 10-bit FX6 footage, and it is not breaking down at all. It is a very clean look. It is working very well in the Asus workflow. I'm gonna put this on Fujicolor Pro 400H, which is one of my favorites that I found. In the next tab, you have the film developer, and all of these things. The team at Dehancer has these are pulled almost directly from the process of developing film, which is really impressive. So the sliders here are correlating to roughly the same process, the same things that you would do to develop film after it has been exposed. And so same thing, film developer, film compression, expand, and print, all kind of have their bases from that. So we may not entirely understand what these are exactly doing, but you can pretty much just drag them around to curate the look you want. I like to use this one for some saturation. It adds very nice saturation. And then in compression, I like to use some color density. And so between those two, you get a very nice look. And then you have expand, where you can define the black and white points of your kind of final delivery for like Rec 709 or Rec 2020, whatever you're kind of doing. You can help tell Dehancer where those points lie. I don't really need to touch them for my case, so I'm just gonna go past that. The print, which I never touch because I don't really know why I would use this per se if it doesn't fit the look I want. Some of these are some pretty interesting looks, but I would have to like build my whole grade around these looks, which I'm just not prepared to do right now. But Endura glossy paper looks nice. Color head, this is where you can kind of manipulate your colors and get some very interesting looks. I like to manipulate my colors in DaVinci with my primary tools and other tools like Color Warper, so I don't really touch any of this, but you can use it to do a lot of that kind of grading if you wanted to, which is nice additional customization. And then you get down here into all these things that I kind of call as film properties. So you have your film grain, halation, bloom, film damage, film breath, gate weave, overscan, and vignette. All of these have a number of presets, but they also have a custom slider. And so you can fine tune any of this to be exactly the way you want it, which is very, very cool. I usually don't do that just because it's a lot of stuff I don't normally need to do. But if the project called for it, I would have that ability and I'd be able to do that. I like to go 65 mil ISO 500. It's like this super fine grain, as you can see. It's just this nice layer of very organic grain, and Dehancer's grain is very, very nice. It's very organic. It's very pleasing to look at. I put it on a lot of my stuff. I do enjoy it. And then there's halation and bloom, which I typically do not put on my footage because I like to shoot with diffusion filters on the glass. So this in combination with that is usually too much, but you can see right here on this bird's eye, a little bit of that halation. You get a little bit of the bloom. Again, these can be fully customized to a T. Whatever you want, you can do it here. Film damage, same deal. I typically don't use this because it's just not what I do, but it does add these little pieces of damage, which is very interesting. If you're trying to like totally copy the look of film, this would be a great way to do it. Film breath, I'm not using film breath or gate weave. Both of these kind of like move the footage like as it was being kind of scanned. Each film frame was kind of moving around in that process, so you can simulate that with film breath and film breath and gate weave. And then there's overscan, which I don't use, but it's kind of interesting because you could use this for good framing reference. Like if you wanted to get a 1:3:7 aspect ratio, you could use this and then crop in, or you could even crop in past the sprockets and have just this nice little border. And there's also widescreen, there's also Panavision, so that's kind of interesting. I don't use it, but it is a very cool creative tool, I think, to have. You can even make the gate not static, have it kind of move as the program or as the image goes. And then the last piece is vignette, which is fine. It's a good tool. I usually do vignette other ways, but yeah, if you want to do it this way, you absolutely can do it this way. And that's kind of the program, quick and dirty. This is what it looks like. This is kind of what ability you have. You can also monitor false color, which is kind of worth the price of admission alone. A good false color plugin is kind of hard to find for DaVinci, so to get this included is nice. And it also has a clipping indicator, which right here, it's telling me that there's shadow information that is gone. So you can use that clipping indicator to do that, which is nice. And so that's kind of Dehancer in a nutshell. That's what you can expect. That's kind of what it's good for. You can just real quick see, like, this is my, here's my log image, Rec 709. It's nice and clean, totally fine. Lacks any kind of character though, so let's put on this. There you go. Yeah, I recommend to anybody who's making films of any kind, maybe in corporate work, a lot of this isn't useful, but you could still craft unique looks for corporate things. Obviously, branded content, Dehancer would perform really well in as well. It's a very nice way to get cool and unique looks very quickly, very efficiently, and if you understand color grading at its basics and how to manage a workflow, you'll get very, very good results, and I don't think anybody would be really disappointed with this plugin. I do have a Dehancer link if anybody is interested. I do believe you save a little bit of money on any of the licenses. You can also email Dehancer and get a 2-week trial of the full pro version, which is a good way to get your feet kind of wet and see what's going on and see if any of the stuff I'm saying makes sense in your workflow. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.